Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Awake in the World. We are live right now. It is Sunday, the 11th day of April, in the where in the heck is 2021 going so fast? Tonight, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the goofiest one of all? You are. And that would be me. and apparently the cat is agreeing with me. Hi, sunshine. So as always, I see Dallas up first, and then a blip of Louisa, and then Kelly must have answered, and I lose it all. So hi, good to see you guys. Saw Dallas earlier today, actually, as well. First of all, as always, let me express my love for each and every one of you. You know, whatever's happening right now is exactly what it needs to be. And you are exactly where you need to be. And you can, if you want to get up on my lap, you have to come up all by your lonesome this time. Sorry, having cat clinging issues. If I so much as try to head for the couch for any reason whatsoever, I've got maybe 30 seconds and then she's on me and she wants to be over my heart and right up tight against me and being pet and loved up. It's hard to say no, it really is. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, tonight we're going to talk about the mirror, but you know, I was reading something that it's hilarious to me. So apparently, you know, and I don't even know why we're going to go down this road, but it's funny. So, you know, basically Donald Trump's become a non-entity as far as I'm concerned anyways. And while today there's another release from him where he claims that all Americans should be calling the vaccine the Trump scene because of course, you know, it's his vaccine. And that speaks a lot to what we're going to be talking about tonight. So what do I mean by that kind of mysterious two-word title, The Mirror? And I'm pretty sure you can guess where I'm going with it. The reality of this existence is that whatever your perceptions of the outside are, whatever's occurring in your exterior environment is mirroring what's going on within you. It's mirroring the state of your being within you, both at the conscious level and, more importantly, at that deeper subconscious level. So, for example, if you are stuck in the mindset that you are not worthy of anything, not worthy of love, not worthy of enough, not worthy of a good, safe place to live, and all of these sort of things, you are bound to experience that sooner or later. This is one of the reasons why, for example, we get such a feeling from making the bed. Because those two are so closely linked, and not the bed, but the physical outward appearance, that if we're feeling a little addle-headed or not quite straight and ordered in our mind, doing some sort of external task to bring order to the external can often help to calm and reorder that internal state. Now, there is a pitfall in that, and we'll talk about that pitfall right away so I don't forget. And the pitfall, of course, is that you begin to feel that you can consistently control that external environment to somehow make you feel ordered within. And that is not the case. But in moments where you're feeling unbalanced and you're already in that imbalanced state, you can partake in an external action that will help to bring order to your internal being. But the main thing that we have to get under this is the understanding that everything that we truly believe and think about ourselves will be presented to us over and over again in our lives. Really, it's kind of like someone holding up a sign. Really, it's a mirror, of course, that says, "See here, are you happy with what you see?" And maybe that'll go on for another year or two, and then that mirror is going to come up really sharply in your face again. See this? Are you happy what you see with what you see? So when we understand that life is acting as a mirror to reflect your innermost, deepest beliefs about yourself and about your existence, if we have the wrong point of view, we can look at that and think that we're doomed. Because we honestly feel that poorly about ourselves. That we don't feel that there's any way that we can shift that inner landscape. So when something presents itself outside of yourself, i.e. a situation, in Kelly's case, she realized how time and time again in her life, she's been offered the opportunity to stay true to herself or to do that which gains the most approval. And of course, as her life progressed and she kept giving in to the approval, the outward external environment began to reflect more and more severe conditions, mirroring the inner landscape, mirroring what was happening inside of her by her not being true to herself, by her decisions to put up with that which she should not have put up with. And this is not to lay blame. There is no blame in this. But the moment that you take responsibility, the moment that you take your power back and understand that your power doesn't lie in the externals, it lies within you. It is the source from which your external environment appears. If you are convinced inside your mind that we live in a violent and desperate and miserable world, you will go out and find all of those things unconsciously that will validate that point of view. And then when you see them, you will say, see, we do live in that sort of a world. When you understand that it comes down to your choices, and here's an interesting thing about free will, and I've talked about free will before, about free will not really being free at all, but instead free choice. The ability to choose. And if your choice is governed by an inner landscape that is damaged, you think that you are damaged, or you are not worthy of love, or you are not worthy of happiness or joy, or any of those things that you feel are absolutely necessary base foundational things. That we have to be very careful here that we don't get into the concept that I deserve great wealth is actually a beneficial thing. You may end up with great wealth, but great wealth will never bring you anything. We're not talking about whether there's a fancy new Lamborghini in your carport, or whether there is simply adequate transportation there. We are talking about your inner landscape, the experience of yourself and your life. And 99.9% of all of you don't love yourself enough. You don't care deeply enough about yourself. You feel that there's something that you have done or something that you have said, and it may not even be in your control. In Kelly's case, when it comes to her mother, she feels it's just because she was born at the wrong time, as if she had anything to do with when that happened. So when we drop that, when we're not willing to accept that there is anything wrong inside with us anymore, and we start to love ourselves fully, we're offering ourselves the opportunity to balance out and return that landscape to a beautiful meadow in the woods with flowers and birds singing and a stream and deer drinking at the stream and you sitting there with all of them in harmony. That's the inner landscape that I cultivate. An inner landscape where I am loved no matter what I do. Now, taking full responsibility for your life is the most important aspect of this. If you want to continue to blame something outside of yourself, you can. That's up to you. But what you're doing is you're literally saying, here is my ability to feel good. It's yours, and only you have control over that now. You literally hand your power away when you believe that something outside of you is responsible for where you are at or how you feel. Now, yes, you can easily say, well, so-and-so did this to me when I was young, and I have my own stories with that. Right? I was sexually abused by my father at an early age. I could continue to allow the concept that there was something wrong with me, and that would continue to reflect in my outside environment. Trust issues. And I had them earlier on. I would get insanely jealous. That's all based around trust. Why? Because I felt there was no trust from my parents. No trust from my mother. She chose to take her own life. And no trust from my father, who chose to abuse my sister and myself and my mother, and then go ahead and die as well. But the moment that I looked inward and understood that I had chosen all of that beginning, all of those initial events of my life, not to set myself up for failure, but to give myself the journey that I wanted to experience here. Knowing full well that even though it seemed that these horrible things had happened externally, before I even came here, I was fully aware and confident that they were nothing compared to my personal power. My ability to choose, not external to myself, but to choose for myself. Everything around us is mirroring our own inner landscape. The responsibility for everything that occurs in your life isn't what you own. What you own is the responsibility for how you choose to interpret it, how you choose to personalize it. In other words, how you choose to incorporate it into your own inner landscape. So if you continue to maintain a victim mentality within, that you will always be abused and always be harmed and always be taken advantage of, your external reality will reflect that. Not because God doesn't love you, because all of creation truly does love you and wants to give you naturally the easiest and best path out of that. And that is not sending you something external that matches up with what you want. What it is convincing you to look within and find the strength to stand and choose for yourself out of a deep love and caring for your own being. That may sound selfish. If I'm all about loving myself and all about caring for myself, how am I doing anything for anyone else? I can tell you right now, it may seem backwards, but it only seems that way. In truth, there is nothing you can truly do purely for anyone else until you fully come to peace with your own being. until you fully accept who you are right now. All of life is acting as a mirror to you. And we get so caught up in our egoic self, so caught up in our thought processes, and what those thoughts and our concept of ourself do is they take that perfect mirror and they twist it. So the reflections that we see back into ourselves are distorted. They're based on our thoughts. And if those thoughts are not feeling good, if you're not feeling wonderful thinking whatever it is you're thinking right now, or neutral at best, that is the surest sign that you're trying to lie to yourself again. You're unconsciously jumbling your own inner landscape. And that inner landscape is deeply connected to the energetic field of your body. And that energetic field of your body is a manifestation of your own divine consciousness. It knows far more than the egoic self. It knows the truth of its existence and your existence. And it relays through you through a process that we call feelings, the validity of your own thought processes. So, how do we take this now, take this wisdom, and bring it into our world? Whenever we see something external to us that stands out, or that keeps recurring, whether it's the same type of guy or girl that we date or find in our lives, or the same sort of jobs, or the same sort of situations where we're not feeling like we're able to be ourselves, we must honestly realize that that external is not what needs to be looked at closely. What needs to be looked at closely is where in our own inner being are we reflecting the underlying things that that external manifestation represents. And keep in mind, as a safety valve for humanity, there's always a time lag. So the situation you see right now, today, may be the same situation you've lived over and over and over again. In different form, maybe a couple years apart, maybe a decade apart, maybe a week apart, maybe an hour apart. But you will see that these same situations, the same underlying issues are recurring, manifested in external form. And if you want that to stop, you can't stop it by trying to control that external. You can't move away from it. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. God knows I tried. Listen, I traveled to the second tallest mountain on the planet trying to get away from it all. And you know what? I was still there. The inner landscape was still there. And no matter how hard I tried, sooner or later, that inner landscape would begin to reflect in my external world. If you want that mirror to become clear, if you want to lose that distortion, it's incredibly simple. You must, first and foremost, accept full responsibility for everything that has occurred, is occurring, and will ever occur in your life. There is no judgment or blame in that. It is only a restoration of your own power unto yourself. The second thing you need to do is you need to look at your life situations and see how that is reflected about how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you care for yourself. Third, you must be willing to accept, as I say at the beginning of every single video, a singular truth of your existence. You are perfect right now, just the way you are. There is nothing wrong with you, and you have to accept that. It breaks my heart a lot of times that because I see inside of everybody. I see those deepest thoughts, the deepest places of darkness that people would place themselves in. And even in that darkness, it is made perfect for you. For it is in that darkness that you are offered the opportunity to shine the most. Accept yourself in every moment. There's no Garhen here sitting behind the tears saying, God, I'm not a man, I'm crying, what are people going to think about me? There's none of that. Why? Because I accept that whatever I'm engaged in right in this moment, whatever I'm experiencing, it's perfect. It's allowing me something. It's offering me something. It's giving me an opportunity to express every aspect of my being openly, freely. And as I said to Dallas, who one of our group members who was over today, our external environment here has, over time, become a reflection of our internal space. And it will for you too. The final step, as always, is to remember there is no blame in this game. There is no right or wrong choice you can make. There is only the choices that you see that are available based on what's going on within you. Learn to accept that there is no choice beyond your power. That you have the strength to choose and create a whole new world. Now, does that mean that all of a sudden everyone around you turns sunny and bright? Not at first. But over time, I promise you this, the light that you truly are and the light that will shine from you when you return to yourself wholly, fully, will begin to reflect back in every mirror, in every experience, in every encounter with another. I see how this mirror of life can appear a lot of times to be nasty, for lack of a better word, or not very comforting. But you must remember that you are so deeply loved that you are always offered the quickest and fastest route out of your perceptions of suffering, out of your perceptions of who and what you are. It is right there available to you right now in every moment. Much love to you this Sunday evening. Namaste. Have a beautiful Sunday night. Do not blame yourself should you find yourself in situations that are reflecting an inner landscape that is not in balance. It is a loving opportunity for you to recognize that and begin to do that inner work necessary. Again, have a beautiful Sunday night. We'll speak again very soon.